All right. All right. And we are live for the $1 Million Year Masterclass. I want to shout out Goldie for being early. Very good. Very cool. Very cool. So you may be watching this on LinkedIn, YouTube, or somewhere else on Facebook. If you've not yet seen the other trainings, there's actually 3 other pre-trainings I want to point you to. If you join the 7-Figure Circle $1 Million Mastermind group, let me put the link in there so you can know where to go to see those other trainings, right? If you've already registered for the $1 Million Year Masterclass on December 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern, these are the pre-trainings to help you get geared up and get the most out of that training as well. And we're going to talk about one key element of making sure that you're ready, right? And this actually applies to other aspects of your business as well. I think it's going to be really valuable for you. Also, I want to extend to you the opportunity. You may have seen it as you registered, right? But if you have not yet taken the chance to register for the VIP session, which is our Q&A, where we will be diving a little bit deeper into your business in particular. So it'll be the chance for you to be able to ask questions and find out some of the things that maybe are challenging you and how you can overcome those things as well. I think it's a valuable opportunity. You'll get 1 hour with me personally. You're also going to get a few other free goodies, access to one of the challenges that we've done earlier this year, the Crush Your Goals Challenge. I had to remember we had multiple challenges. So you're going to get access to the Crush Your Goals Challenge to be able to help you to set your vision for the next year, to make sure you're understanding. And I'm actually going to talk about one of the aspects of that as well right here in a second. Also, you're going to get access to this recording as well for yours to have, and so you'll be able to refer back to it as well. There's also a bunch of other free goodies you're going to get. And I can't even keep up with the list of everything that we got in there, but it's jam-packed, and it's $1,500 worth of value for only $47 to upgrade to that. So that being said, I really would love to spend more time with you. And so if you want to take advantage of that, that's there for you as well. Why is this so important? Why are we doing this pre-training? Good to see you, Amy, Goldie. Glad you're both here as well. I know some of you are joining quietly or silently. If you want to drop a comment or a thumbs up, let me know where you're watching this from and also what you're discovering from this process as well. The reason why we want to do the $1 Million Year Masterclass is because I find that a lot of entrepreneurs, you're doing 6 figures plus, you've gotten to a certain point in your business where you're bumping your head on a ceiling and you can't seem to grow forward. Maybe you've got a couple employees, maybe you got 5, 6, 10 even, but you're paying them all the money, you're paying yourself a little money, you can't seem to get enough headway to move forward. You feel like you're stuck. Maybe you have a peak in 1 month and then you've got a valley in the next, and it's just hard to be consistent. And so one of the things that I've discovered about myself and my own business journey, and I share with clients when I'm working with them, is that we have this thing about doing 2 things, and it's simply this. It's showing up and keeping promises. Why is this so important? Make that look like a P. Because you hear it say it over and over again, and maybe you've seen this in your own life and your own business, right? Consistency. People lacking consistency. How can I be consistent? If I could just be more consistent, I could get better results. And so there are some people who will sign up for this course, and in the back of their mind, they're not even sure that they're going to make it. I don't know if I can come or not, right? And I've been encouraging people, hey, if you still want to sign up and get a chance to get the replay because you really want the information, then that's great. But if you are at all able to be there, even if it's just for a portion of the presentation of the masterclass, then I would encourage you to do that, right? And so the only person that can deter you from doing that is you. Short of your car exploding, short of your house exploding, short of something catastrophic happening, a volcano erupting from the middle of nowhere. You need to be able to make the commitment to yourself that you're going to do this. And the reason for that is because we commit to the things that matter to us. And on a daily basis, we are making small promises, small commitments about what we want and what matters to us. So if you say you want to lose 20 pounds after the first of the year by the holidays or whatever the case may be, you have to make and keep little promises to yourself over that period of time. And so, how are you going to be able to do that? It doesn't mean that you have to do it alone, but there are also little micro promises you make along the way. So, I'm going to promise myself I'm not going to buy certain things to eat. I'm going to promise myself I'm not going to eat after a certain time. I'm going to promise myself that I'm going to eat more fruits and vegetables or eat less in portions or whatever. And so we make these micro promises. What happens is we break these promises to ourselves consistently over and over again. And so when we find that we lack that integrity, we actually lack the belief in ourselves that we can accomplish a certain thing because we know ourselves. And what we do is we let ourselves off the hook over and over again, or we punish ourselves consistently. And so what we do is we punish the training, or we train ourselves to deal with the guilt and the shame of carrying that burden of not having kept that promise, of not having written that page for the book, of not having made those sales calls, of not having done the details of the things that we needed to do to be able to keep that up. And I know this because I myself am human. I've done that as well. I've let myself off the hook for certain things. But one thing I've discovered, and I work with, when I'm working with clients, we work on being able to focus on what are the promises that you are keeping and what are the promises that you're breaking. And oftentimes we find that we're breaking promises so that will get us closer to what we want. And we're keeping other negative promises that are getting us further away. And that's a big challenge that we have. So if this is resonating with you, drop a comment in the chat, the comments below, and let me know if you've ever had that experience. Yes, if you ever find yourself breaking a promise to yourself. And is it something that you really want for yourself, that you can see yourself making a promise? And so setting this commitment to say, I'm signing up for this class, setting this commitment to say, I'm going to take notes, I'm going to engage, I'm going to learn what I can from this to be able to move forward is super important. It may seem like a small thing, but in reality, what you're doing is that you are training yourself to tell yourself what is important. And what you do is when you are a leader in an organization, in your own business, you are also training your people about keeping promises or not. Are you going to have that sales meeting every morning at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m.? Are you going to make sure that you're keeping that quota of the amount of calls you're going to make or the amount of social media posts that you're going to do? If you're doing certain things in terms of jobs, what are the details, the minutia of keeping the promise? People talk about building culture and shifting culture in their company, but the culture is the promises that we make and the promises that we keep. And so what is that culture that you are building in your business now? Because if you only think about your business in terms of yourself, it will never be a business. It will always be a job. And if it's a job, then it's impossible to scale a job beyond yourself, right? But if you want to build a business, if you want to create real freedom, you want to build real impact, if you want to live a life of purpose and significance, and you want to use your business as a vehicle to be able to help you deliver that, then you're going to have to develop your ability to keep a promise, to keep a commitment. And so that's simply what we're doing here today. And we're talking about what are you focused on? What are the promises that you can make to yourself, to others, and to the world? And so sometimes we make these grand promises. What we do on January 1st is we write down this list of resolutions, right? But what I'm encouraging you to do is not wait for January 1st. Today is December 2nd. And this $1 Million Year Masterclass is on December 6th. That gives you a head start. You've got 30 days to be able to think about what you want, to be able to plan, strategize, and to be able to set that plan in motion. And there's no reason that by the time January 1st comes, you're not always already so far ahead of the pack, so far ahead of where you would have been if you just started thinking about it then. And your ability to do that, trust me, your ability to do that when you start to make promises and know you have the capacity to keep them, know that you can make a commitment and live up to it every single day, is something that will empower you to dream bigger. Because if you can make a promise to yourself, then what would you promise to yourself, right? What would be possible if you could simply say, I want to make $1 million tomorrow, and I'm going to figure a way to make that happen. Now, whether or not you believe that is all dependent on your ability to make a promise to yourself. I will promise to figure out the path forward. I will figure out a way to implement this or find the resources, whatever it is. If you had to do it, if you had to, could you make that promise and could you keep it? How do we latch on to the negative promises? That's a great question, Jerron. Here's what we do, right? We have beliefs, and we'll talk about this a little bit on the masterclass, but we have beliefs about the way that the world works. And so oftentimes what we'll do is we will make a promise in one direction, and then we'll have a promise in another direction. And what I mean is, let's say that for instance, let's say that we'll use the example of losing or getting in shape again, right? So let's say in shape and out of shape, right? Of shape. Those are two different directions, right? That's a continuum. Now, let's say that we're in the middle. Now, the promises to get in shape mean joining a gym, right? Eating right. Exercise. Drinking more water, right? The promise of getting out of shape is eating badly, eating poorly, not working out. What else could you say? Poor sleep, right? Because that does relate to that. Poor habits. And so what we do is every time that we choose to do one of these things, we're keeping this promise. We're keeping a negative promise. And when we move forward in the direction of what we want to go, then we're keeping a positive promise. We're keeping the promise because a promise is simply a contract. It's a deal. It's agreement to get a certain outcome, right? It's saying this is what I want. And so I'm going to do the things that require me to get what I want. Here's the thing. If I work out for an hour every day, I'm going to be in better shape. It's a direct cause and effect. If I do certain activities in my business, it's going to impact my business more positively. Period. Now, if I'm not getting the results that I want, it's not because I'm not doing the things. It means I'm doing the wrong things. But I can always adjust my effort or adjust my focus to get the right result as long as I am committed to doing the things that it required to get that result. And so a lot of times what we do is, yeah, I love that. So a lot of times what we do is we just aren't clear on which promises we're keeping. And you said that that's really, really good. So it's really knowing between either we are improving or declining. Absolutely. That's period. Look, there is no standing still in life, right? There is no indecision. Every decision is a decision to decide or to allow the decision to be made for you, right? I talk about the fact that there is a universal principle called entropy. And the universe is basically built toward the concept of entropy, which is that all things will fall apart. Everything will fall apart. Entropy is the measurement of the acceleration of that. And so it requires our intention to build something that stands the test of time so that entropy does not take over that, right? So if you leave a car in a field for 200 years, what's going to happen? Is that car going to be in better shape or worse shape if you just left it there? It's going to rust, right? The parts are going to fall apart. The door and the hinges are going to come off. All of that stuff's going to happen. All you have to do is leave it there and entropy will take over. If you want to build a car, can you just put all the parts in a field and it will automatically assemble itself after 200 years? No, you have to apply intention to that. And so what we do when we're keeping a promise, we have to make the promise, right? And then we have to keep the promise. And so one is the intention and the other is the action. And if we're not applying those things together, then what happens is we get entropy in our business, in our life, etc. If you're in a marriage or in a relationship and you're not applying a certain amount of intention and attention to that other person, to the communication, to the love and care that you're giving them, what's going to happen to that relationship? And it's very funny that what we do is we set an intention or we state a desire and think that we made a promise. But a desire is not a promise. I want to be in love is not the same thing as saying I'm going to find someone to be in a relationship with, and I'm going to do the things that are required to find this person and to develop a relationship and to keep that relationship strong. Those are very different things. A desire is not a promise. And so we can look directly at our lives and say, if we're not getting the things that we want, then we need to look at either the promises that we're keeping or the actions that we're doing to keep the promises that we're making, or look at the actions that we're affecting to keep that promise. Is that clear? Let me know in the comments of that about one or two. Let me know if that's clear for you as well. That's all we got for today's pre-training, though. But hopefully that's been valuable for you as well. If you're not yet signed up, if you're just watching this wherever you are, I'm going to drop the link in the comments below so you can make sure that you are a part of this event. Because I know we have people that are watching. I know we've got people that are watching this, and you may not have even seen it yet. If you've not seen the link, maybe you've seen the link and you just kind of passed by it, then I want to make sure that you understand this is what it's all about. We are going to go through an amazing blueprint for building your business in 7 figures in 12 months or less. And for those of you who may be even wondering, like, yeah, it sounds like a scam. Can you even do that? Whatever the case may be. Let me ask you this. Wherever you are, if you're making $20,000 a month and you made $30,000 a month because you joined this program, would you be upset? Right? Like, what do you have to lose? People are so worried about, well, it's not going to work. But again, what's the promises that you're doing? Are you making the promises and taking the actions to get that? Because if you want to improve your business, if you want to grow and scale, how are you going to affect that? How are you going to make that happen? It's not going to happen if you hope that it happens. If you're only doing what you're doing now, and it's what you're doing now is not getting you closer, is not getting there, helping you get there faster, then doing what you've been doing and not coming to this class won't help. And so this whole pre-training today is dedicated to helping you understand the concept of keeping that promise. Make the promise, put it in your phone, and then decide for yourself what you're going to do. And so your homework for today's pre-training is very, very simple. You are going to make a promise, and you're going to define what it is that you need to do to keep that promise. What are the steps you need to take to keep that promise, right? You can drop that in the comments below right here in the video. But I want you to write that down. As a matter of fact, take a picture of it. Share that with us in the comments. Let us know what are the promises you're going to make to yourself. And it doesn't have to be super personal. It doesn't even have to be super big. You can simply say, I'm going to drink more water every day. Whatever that promise is, what is it that you're trying to create in your life, and how are you going to be able to do that to create more impact? All right. So that's all we have for today. I hope you've registered already. If not, I will see you in the masterclass on Tuesday, December 6th at 1 p.m. Jerron, awesome, man. I hope to see your friends and co-workers there as well. I'm excited about what we're going to share with you. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing event. As always, I am Frederick Douglass Bussey, and we are done for today. We'll see you in the masterclass. Ever forward.